Singing along.
Idi, Amin, most amazing man there's ever been. He the general, the president, he king of the scene. Idi, Amin.
Listen, with the world famous Kampala Key Club man keeping in the damn background, what the hell going on here? It looking like some kind of musical coup to me. That's better. 3 people more than enough for a quartet anyhow.
Idi, Amin, most amazing man there's ever been. He the general, the president, he king of the scene. Idi, Amin.
A modern leader got to twist and shout. Gotta tell the people, let it all hang out. If you don't want to vanish with a boot up the bomb, you gotta give the population something to hum.
Idi,
You're still
Amin,
crowding the
most amazing
star.
man. He the general, the president, he king of the scene. Idi, Amin.
That a pretty good voice you got there. That voice possibly taking you right to the top of the charts. Yes, sir, ma'am, every chance you get into the #1 spot on the Uganda hit parade with a voice like that. You could be the next Engelbert Bassey. You could be the new Zulu. Pity the world only needing one new star, really. Idi Amin, the most amazing man that the world has seen. Now the general, the president, the king of the scene. Idi Amin. Oh, this girl singing a piece of cake. Let's go now. Idi Amin. Whoa, Idi Amin. Listen to the falsetto going there. Not often a black man get that far up, you know. Idi Amin. Idi Amin, don't forget the name there, folks. Idi Amin, how I love the sound of it. Idi Amin. Ooh, Idi Amin. Who wrote the lyrics of this? Is poetry. Idi Amin. Idi Amin. Take it away. Don't bring it back. Idi Amin. Oh, Idi Amin. What is it about this name I like? I don't know. Idi Amin. Oh, yeah, Idi Amin. I'm the general, the president. What do you mean the recording time is booked out? That's rubbish. No, listen, I own it, please. Idi Amin. Oh, Idi Amin. Keep on going and on. Idi Amin.
He's a piece of garbage. Ain't no rain.
Anally raping children and disemboweling and force-feeding them their own intestines. Anally raping children and disemboweling and force-feeding them their own intestines. Anally raping children. Anally raping children. Anally raping children and disemboweling and force-feeding them their own intestines. Anally raping children and disemboweling and force-feeding them their own intestines.
permeable or eat wet food from a can. I don't shower with my tongue or brush your legs with my glands. I am not a kitten. In fact, I am a man. I am not a kitten. In fact, I rarely am. I rarely am a kitten.
Animal. His name is Seamus and he's here to say there's something in the grass and those things are snakes.
You already know who it is and I've been here for a while. They call me
Animal.
and I kill him with a smile. You can see me leave with the bloody footprints. I don't wanna do it again, but I'ma do it again.
So keep reviewing all his art, keep reviewing his podcast. It don't make him upset, except those times he got mad. He keeps on lying, saying he's never even heard of Carl. It's more likely he's watching his house with binoculars.
And I'm a killer, I'm a ghost, and I leave you the most. And I don't give a fuck where you end up.
We know that Todd's dreaming, he's Carl's nightmare. He wants him dead, but at the same time he doesn't care.
Keep talking like you even know me, bro. We ain't never seen it, really know me, bro.
He just rhymed the words, know me, bruh, with the words,
Know me, bro.
Yeah, it's animal, baby, and I do it too real. Being in this shit, trying to make a fucking meal. Yeah, them dollars steady coming and I need them to stay. I've been doing this shit while watching my back because I know them snakes in the grass.
Snakes in the grass.
I know them snakes in the grass.
snakes in the grass.
Animal.
And I see them every day.
While he's sleeping at his home in Rochester, New York.
Yeah, I see them every day.
From the backseat of his car while he's on his way to work.
Snakes in the grass.
Snakes in the grass.
Snakes in the grass.
You don't really know me, bro. Don't get a trip.
He's been here for a minute and 46 seconds. Carl hasn't fired back. He's running before Todd gets him. The only place he might be safe is Gary, Indiana. Something, Harry Limp Banana.
Cause I'm
Stacking necks.
While I'm
Stacking checks.
You don't really wanna be the one who's
Fucking next, Carl.
Seeing them moaning, I breathe fire like a dragon. You don't wanna understand how it really happened. I'm a
Monster,
I'm a
mutant,
yeah,
demon.
I'm a demon. I come on this beat like a
Fucking heathen.
And I'm eating, boy, yeah, you looking so hungry. I've been doing this shit, that's why you're
Girl,
good.
love me.
My name is Animal, cause I'm a
Beast boy.
I do this forever, I'm like
Thanksgiving feast.
Where I eat them snakes in the grass. Oh, yeah. Snakes in the grass. Yeah, I see 'em every day.
Yeah, he sees them every day.
Them snakes in the grass. Oh, yeah. Them snakes in the grass. Oh, yeah. I see 'em every day.
Snakes in the grass.
Snakes in the grass. Them snakes in the grass.
Luxury Beats.
I'm sticking in the Anna's butt. I'm gonna do Anna's butt. Set my penis in the Anna's butt. And I wanna lick Anna's butt. And I'm gonna do Anna's butt. Set my cock in the Anna's butt. Put my face in the Anna's butt. I'm gonna punch the shit in Anna's butt. Anna's butt. Butt.
I know y'all hungry. This is the season. I know y'all hungry. Welcome to Granny's house. Please have a seat. She'll fix you a plate, yeah, so you can eat. I know you see her throwing back all that food. You look so hungry, yeah, I know you wanna eat. Ooh,
I want some turkey. I want some ham.
yeah.
Maybe some lamb.
Taste so good,
I want some chicken.
Ooh,
Maybe some turkey.
yeah.
holidays,
No!
fam. I got green beans, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, ram, and dog.
Lamb, ram, and dog.
Shirley said we can't have them all.
We can have them all.
Potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, ram, and dog.
I'm hungry, I'm hungry.
Like Miss Shirley said we can't have them all.
Ready! My granny's special and I know you can see. She must fuss at you, but she'll make sure you eat. Oh, I know you never want to leave. But don't you dare ask for the recipe.
I want some chicken.
Ooh.
I want some turkey. I want some ham.
Yeah.
Maybe some lamb.
Tastes so good, tastes
I want
so
some
good.
chicken.
Ooh.
Maybe some turkey.
Yeah.
How about ham?
Please.
Not that holidays,
No.
fam. I got green beans, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, ram, and dog.
Lamb, ram, and dog.
Shirley said we can't have them all.
We can have them all.
Potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, ram, and dog.
I'm hungry, I'm hungry.
Like Miss Shirley said we can't have them all.
We got a pound cake, got the apple pie, we got the pecan pie, we got the $1 million pie, got the sweet potato pie, got the pumpkin pie, got all the sweets that you can try. We got that greens, that turkey, that chicken, that cruise too. We got that stuffing, that green bean, mac and cheese, and cornbread too.
I got green beans,
Wait,
potatoes, tomatoes,
I wasn't done. What do you mean my time is almost up? But all the food, all of the ham. Come on, y'all. I thought this was a jam.
I got green beans, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, ram, and dog.
Ready?
Just like Miss Shirley said we can't have them all.
I'm so stoned. I can't do it.
Shirley said we can't have them all.
Everybody's pooping except for you.
Deutschland, Deutschland, über alles, über alles in der Welt. Denn es steht zu Schutz und Gute, brüderlich zusammenhält. Von der Mast bis an die Linden, von der Esch bis an den Fels. Unser ganzes Leben lang. Really sucks. Blowing up the U.S. 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 Blowing up the USA. 'Cause the U.S. really sucks.
Like push into like people
and like like that.
Yeah, people love that.
So everybody can hear you.
That sounds great.
Hi, everybody.
Who are you talking to, Vinny?
I'm talking to the people that are listening to
Do you
our
have
show.
friends over there or something?
Some of them are my friends.
Okay.
Well,
Some of them are mortal enemies.
Can I see what they're saying right now?
I don't care what you do.
Okay.
Yeah, you'd have to go on our YouTube.
That's what I'm doing. Also messaging all of my friends and telling them to get on the YouTube.
Do it.
Oh, that'll be fun. It'll be nice to have them all with us.
Well, it'll be sad if no one shows up, won't it, for me?
Well,
what time is it where your friends live?
Oh, no, Lord.
he's actually calling them yesterday. It's amazing.
I get it.
I don't remember that at all, Michael C. How dare you?
What did Michael C say?
Who cares what Michael C says? Fuck that guy. Carl, you really have a way with words.
I know, that's a pretty good song.
You don't sing enough.
I don't brag enough about my amazing musical accomplishments, Vinny. I think I need another episode devoted to that.
Maybe on your birthday, on Vinnie Miss, in December, you could have a special stream.
Fair enough.
And you could talk all about your musical accomplishments. I mean, it's not like you haven't done. It's not like you don't have another outlet you could do that on.
Well, Vinny, I'm never going to do that again, and I can prove that because I got Vic to co-host with me instead.
So, funny story.
Yeah.
This week, Carl flew to Las Vegas to go meet his idol, Shuli.
My idol. Okay.
Yeah, he's Carl's idol. People don't know this.
Yeah.
And I got to meet my idol, and I only had to drive like 45 minutes away.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan is your idol?
Oh, yeah.
I've heard you talk
He's
about...
higher on the list than Bill Cosby,
I've heard you talk about 1,000 wrestlers. Never has Hacksaw's name come up.
What? Do you not
Fucking
turn
liar.
around and look on the set? Is there a Hacksaw Jim Duggan autographed card on the set right now?
Now
right
there
behind
is.
me?
Of course, now there is.
No, that's been there, dude.
Okay.
That's been there for a very, very long time.
I
I'm going to be adding...
I happen to know you CGI'd that into all of our past episodes just to make it look like I'm lying.
No, you are lying, and I have a finally got an autographed 2x4 from Hacksaw. It's a lot of fun.
Congratulations.
I'm going to beat you with it. Let's start the show.
Attention parents, what you're about to see is not suitable for kids. Shoot, it's not even suitable for some grown-ups. You might want to walk away now if you ain't into these type of things.
I'm going to give the people what they want. Sensation, horror, shock.
I'm gonna deliver the goods because I'm alive and I'm not backing down. Cuckoo, cuckoo.
Huh. That's not supposed to happen.
Hey, there it is.
We look good, though.
I was terrified.
I understand.
There's the music.
It's there. It's like we've been off or something. Hola, creepos.
Is that because of I was away? Vinny, are you playing that for me specifically?
No, I played that
you
for...
You missed me that much?
For all of the people who give me shit all the time and were still bitching about how much they missed us this week because we weren't live on Monday.
Well, they want to goof on us. They hate watch.
They do hate watch.
Yeah.
That's all right. I know what I don't do. Weight watch. Now, welcome to the Creep Off, ladies and gentlemen. We have a special guest in studio joining us all the way from Alfred, New York, by way of New Zealand. Give it up for my man, Steve Wrigley.
Hey, what's up? Hello,
Steve. Welcome to
creeps?
the show.
Do you call them creeps? Is that what they are?
Creepos.
Creepos. Hello, creepos.
Very good.
Steve has a charming, whimsical voice, but he's a creep just like the rest of us,
yeah.
so he'll fit right in today. And in honor of Steve being here, I'll let the cat out of the bag. We are doing Creepiest New Zealander.
That's right. And who knew that there were creepy New Zealanders? Like 7 people in that country.
Yeah, like 3 of the 4 could qualify for this show.
Yeah.
How they all
shocking.
reproduce, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's the big problem is if there's a guy who's a creep, we're like, oh, well, we can't make you a social outcast because then there'll just be 6 of us.
Right. He's part of the football club. What are you going to do?
Yeah, and it's also really hard to just kind of be kicked out when there are only 7 people because you're kind of always... You're sort of always there.
Right. You can't lose the mailman. You got to keep the mailman on the
That's
streets.
right. That's right. That's right.
All right. Well, that's going to be fun. But I feel like before we get too far into this, we need to discuss
what happened this last week. Wow.
Fucking space and time imploded.
Yeah, Vinny was proven to be incorrect by the courts of the United States
That
of
is
America.
so far from fucking correct.
Pennsylvania thinks you're wrong about this show.
No. What
how bad you
Pennsylvania
are.
thought? What Pennsylvania thought, Carl?
Yeah.
Was that
Bill Cosby, an upstanding citizen.
That's not what they thought.
And I want to point out that OJ, well, he didn't murder his
No.
wife, did steal that memorabilia and held that guy at
God
gunpoint.
damn it. Bill Cosby was let out of prison
Yes.
because of a handshake deal that a prosecutor who left to go defend Donald Trump for
Are
some
we doing
fucking
this for
reason.
real? Are we really doing this for real?
I'm just telling
Yeah.
everybody.
People know why he was let out, Vinny. Nobody thinks he's innocent. We know.
I actually don't know why he was let out. I know he got out, and I'm really confused about how... I mean, nothing in this country does surprise me anymore.
Well, they used a confession that he only gave under the guise that would never be used against him in a criminal case. So it was thrown out for that reason because it was a civil lawsuit that he confessed under.
He went and did the, what do they call it? The deposition.
Yeah.
And to sit under the deposition, the deal was, I'll do the deposition if you promise not to use anything from this to prosecute me later.
Right.
Which, who the fuck makes that deal?
Wait. So you're essentially going, like it's like mum and dad catch you with a smashed cookie jar.
Yeah.
And you go, I'll tell you everything you want to know about the smashed cookie jar, but if I tell you the truth, you're not allowed to, there's no punishment. There's no sent to my room. There's no docking of my allowance.
Then he goes, yeah, I raped the bitch. And then they prosecuted him anyway.
Yep.
It's unfucking
So
real.
let's get to it, Vinny.
But wait, here's what I don't get though. He got off because he did that. So he said, I did it, and they went, oh, we can't arrest him now, guys.
Well, no, they did arrest him. He spent years in prison, and I think he's got an unlawful imprisonment suit.
Oh, he's
my
gonna
God.
sue
He's
Pennsylvania.
going to sue, yes.
Absolutely, he's
For
going
sure.
to.
That was a mistrial. That was a misdeed done.
And somewhere down that long list of grievances,
well,
he's going to sue Vinnie Paulino of the Creep Off. Because you have slandered him
correct.
on a podcast.
Correct.
Shut the fuck up, Wrigley.
You're going to have to book him for the Rickles room. He's going to be here for a whole weekend.
We already had the conversation. Would we book Cosby? The answer is yeah.
Would you really?
I don't know.
I
Probably
don't
not.
think you would.
Probably not.
It's kind of fucked.
There are some people that have been canceled that would be booked.
I mean, if
Yeah, I
Bill
don't know if
Cosby's
Cosby's
coming
on
to
that
your
list.
club, do you get a choice whether you book him or not?
That's true.
I think he just shows up and you go, no, we don't want you. And he goes, too bad. I'm fucking here anyway.
We learned on the last episode that if you're a club owner, you can expect to wake up drugged next to his friend. Fuck. So, all right.
So let's talk about the voting, Vinny, since obviously you were wrong last week and your entire premise sucked. What's the final vote here? Karl with 53% of the vote. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm getting used to this, Vinny. I'm getting used to this winning thing. It's working out pretty well for us. Where does that put me up? 2-0?
You are up 2-0.
Okay. Hey, I got a quick question for you. What's the status with your consequence that you've been ignoring for weeks at a time now? We haven't even talked
Let's
about
talk about your consequence.
What was the consequence?
So
I have to do Creeps and Roses season 2.
Yes.
And I'm waiting for McBride for a date. It looks like the first episode will be out next Tuesday.
Don't tell me McBride is busy.
He's a mailman.
That's a lie, and you know that.
He's a New Zealand mailman now. Listen, next Tuesday. See you next Tuesday, creepos.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right.
Now, Carl,
Yes.
I actually got a message from someone before we get into the contest that had an interesting idea about your consequence. And boy, you're going to wish you didn't bring this up just now.
Okay.
Because I think that I'm going to let the creepos vote on this and decide what they want to do. We had originally said for the 7-second porn challenge, you had to do it in the supermarket or a place where there's a lot of people.
Sure.
Well, one astute viewer came up with an interesting idea. They said, what if we all vote? And if we vote, Carl should have to do this on the plane on the way to Chicago at the beginning of the flight. Blast porn on his phone on the airplane on the way to Chicago.
Does Carl want to get arrested by the Federal Aviation Authority?
I feel like everybody should vote. I think if you want to see Carl do it on the airplane, we'll put up a poll on Twitter. You could vote.
If you want to see Carl hauled off a plane in handcuffs for blasting pornography in a federally controlled space.
How about this?
Vote yes.
How about this?
No.
Either that or I have to sneak a gun on the airplane. Do I get the choice if they vote on it?
I actually that would be quite good.
That'd be pretty sweet, right?
The really worrying thing would be the moment where you go, that was way too easy.
That was way too easy.
Well, kids, we'll let you vote this week. You can decide. Carl got very quiet. Now, how are we going to do the order this week?
Only because, Vinny, honestly, you just traumatized me because I just spent 10 hours of my life recently on airplanes with a fucking mask on. It's the last place in the world you still have to wear a mask for some reason. It's so uncomfortable. Airplanes are the most uncomfortable place in the world anyway. And then you can't breathe while you're doing it.
My daddy, where?
Shut up.
And now you want me getting on the no flight list because I'm watching fucking porn? See, the thing about
I want that. Yes, I want that.
I know
Yes,
you do.
very
So
much.
the thing about the grocery store is you do it, you smile, your face turns red, and you walk away. On an airplane, you sit next to that person for another 2 hours.
I'm not going to rest till you're on the sex offender registry, sir.
I
want
know.
you to that.
I can tell that.
Now, listen, kids. We're going to have to make Carl go first.
I don't know if I can do this show. Actually, I'm worried the consequence. I don't want to go to jail.
Brutal.
Yeah.
I know. Seriously.
I didn't realize I was putting my freedom on the line. All right, let's go.
I guess I'll just have to do a podcast with Brian McBride, which is almost as bad.
Oh, wow. I don't
as
know who's
prison.
the worst deal there. I think I'd rather go to federal prison, to be honest.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I guess it's time to start the contest and find out who is the creepiest New Zealander. I will go Carl will go first because he won. I will go second. And Steve, you have the honor of finishing us off.
Fantastic.
Right
You
all
guys
over your face. You're gonna
Fluff
love
each other up, and I'll just come in at the end for some vigorous finishing. Sounds good.
All right, let's do it. My creep is Flight of the Conchords Season 2. What a piece of shit that was. After the first season was so fantastic. There wasn't a funny fucking song to be had that entire season. What was that?
Hey, Carl. Steve's really good friends with Reese Darby.
Look, they know. They know they laid a turn.
They know they fucked up.
They know they fucked it up. That's why they stopped doing
He's
it.
just all of a sudden going to the water. Now Steve is traumatized. Carl's traumatized. It's a good show. This is a good episode.
All right. My actual creep. I was wondering why you laughed so hard at that, Vinny.
Because I just watched Steve's face in the monitor.
Wasn't that funny?
He just quietly was like, oh, Jesus Christ. I just told everybody I know to watch this.
Yes, that's right. He did just send out a note to all of his friends. Oh, shit.
I don't know these people. I was kidnapped. I woke up here. But yeah, Flight of the Conchords Season 2 was not as good as this.
It wasn't as good as the first one, correct?
But that's what happens.
Would you
when
agree,
have, like,
Steve, that it was utter shit?
Not that it was utter
Would
shit.
you agree that it was the worst show, that they shouldn't even bother making it?
The Kristen Wiig episode was decent. That was a decent episode.
And there was like one other one that was good. But they're still doing a hell of a lot better than
your
the three of us.
consequence is to name that other episode that was good. Good luck with that.
Okay, thanks.
All right,
Dude,
so
that's better than fucking something Vinny would come up with. Vinny would be like, oh, you've got to go into a school filled with children covered in peanut butter and see what happens.
And then watch Season 2 of Flight of the Conchords.
in the cafeteria, and you don't acknowledge anyone.
Can you do your Vinny impression again? I want to hear that.
Oh, it's me, Vinny. He just sounds like an angry Australian.
All right, so I am bringing...
What a good funny imitation you got there, Stevie.
What is that?
All right, Steve, that's enough, all right? Calm down. Let me
wasn't
talk for a
me.
second.
That was Vinny doing
that
an
was
impression
Vinny?
of me.
Wow. Spot on. I had
No, it was
idea.
not spot on.
All right, so my creep this week is a guy named Malcolm Roy.
What's that? Just say that, Carl?
Malcolm Roy is a New Zealander who had a bit of an issue with raping women. He was way into it.
Who's your guy?
Malcolm Roy.
Okay.
All right. And this is just a little bit on him.
There were over 25 women that he raped and attacked.
Convicted of 25.
Convicted. And so those are the ones we know about. And he served less than 1 year per victim.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know what's going on over in New Zealand. 22 years convicted of raping.
Excuse me, you can't even keep Bill Cosby in for 5 minutes. Shut the fuck up, dude.
Damn it. He got me with his legal mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, in those courts, you have to wear a powdered wig, but they let you off a lot easier.
Yeah, at least this guy's done 1 year. Like, fuck, bro. You guys get a rapist and you're like, oh, just let him go next week. He'll learn his lesson.
22 years with 25 victims. But what type of rape are we talking about? And one of the victims explains the attack.
My attack was what's called a blitz attack, which means it was hard and fast. So I suffered some very, very intense and incredibly painful blows to the head, and also one that clipped my jaw. Just to give you an example of the level of violence, the first blow to the back of my head split my head open about that much, and I obviously lost a lot of blood. And it was just the most painful thing I've ever experienced in my life. And, you know, I knew straight away, I thought to myself, I'm going to be raped. I accepted that instantly. I was asking myself the question, am I going to die? Is this going to be the end of my life?
Spoiler, she did not die.
Huh.
She did not die from that. How did his family describe this gentleman?
A member of his family has described Malcolm Rewa to us as evil, one of this country's most brutal criminals. Sentenced in the 90s to preventive detention for attacks on 25 women.
Preventive detention. You familiar with this concept?
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about it when we get to my creep. But go ahead, explain it to the people so I don't have to do it later.
I was hearing a lot about this, but it's almost like they're like, okay, you've raped 25 people. We're guessing there might be a few more unless we do a little preventive detention. It's not a prison sentence. It's just like, you're a naughty guy, and we feel like if we just let you hang out and live your life,
it's like, all right, listen,
keep doing this.
You're going out tonight. You could go out, but you're leaving your keys. It's pretty much
right,
what's going on.
exactly.
But isn't that just exactly what jail is? It's like you put someone away because you're worried that they're going to rob a house again.
Well, no, it's punishment. It's supposed to be a punishment, not preventive detention. We think you might do this again, so no weekends for you.
So who is the creeps? The New Zealand government here?
Well, it's funny you say that. Let's talk about Susan Burdett, one of these victims.
The Susan Burdett homicide has a complicated and very sad history. She was raped and murdered in her home in 1992. And a year later, 17-year-old Taina Porter was arrested and sent to prison, where he would spend the next 21 years.
You heard that right. A 17-year-old named Taina Porter was convicted of rape and murder of Susan Burdett. Turns out officials paid his aunt $5,000 and other witnesses to the tune of $15,000 total to testify against him.
Wait a second. You're telling me that the New Zealand court system actually just flat out wrote a check to people as witnesses?
To testify against him. Also, there was a 9-hour interrogation.
Get the fuck out of here.
There was a 9-hour interrogation during which he confessed without an attorney present.
Were they paying them, or was it compensation for lost wages? Like, if you have to go and give testimony over the course of like a week, then you have to take that time off work. So were they actually getting paid, or
You're
were they
not representing New Zealand right now. You don't have to stick up for New Zealand.
No, I'm just curious because you're like oh, they're paying fucking guys.
All right, well that's a good
and
point.
By the way, we don't have lawyers. We call them bingy bongies.
That's correct.
That's a good point.
You have to go to bingy bongy school, and if you do something illegal, like if you did what Giuliani's been up to, you'd get disbarred from the bingy bongy bar, and it'd be really bad.
That's it.
This is you know, you New Zealanders talking U.S. politics. I won't stand for it.
Yeah, we're just going to make fun of your whole entire court system. But don't you get involved in our legal bingy-bongy.
Taina Porter was born with fetal alcohol spectrum disorder caused by his mother's drinking during pregnancy. His father was never around, and his teenage mother died of cancer when he was 4.
So this guy's a victim? and he's a victim of the court system. He's a victim of this is horrible. This guy isn't a creep.
Basically, they brought him in. They brought in Tana Pora and convinced him to confess to the rape and murder of this Susan Burdett.
So we don't know that he did anything. They could have just
You're losing the narrative here. I'm talking about a whole different person.
Okay.
Tana Pora.
Yeah.
My creep is Malcolm Rawat.
Right.
Okay. In 1999, Malcolm Rawat was convicted of rape after they discovered his semen inside Susan Burdett.
So he actually did it.
He actually was convicted of raping her, but not murder. In 2000, Pora received a retrial because of this new evidence and was convicted again. He was found guilty for a second time.
Of the same crime.
The same crime.
So your creep is the New Zealand penal system.
It might be. Hold on. Let's get through this story because I'm not sure which one is creepier here.
This is insane.
Yes. In 2016, Pora was finally awarded a sum of $3.5 million in compensation and received a government apology for being wrongfully convicted of rape and murder.
We'd like to apologize.
But they still hadn't convicted this guy, Malcolm Rawat, of the murder. They just said, okay, now we know it wasn't Pora. So Rawat, this is going back to 2016, he's up for parole in 2018. And they're going, we got to retry this guy. And a lot of the victims are saying to the New Zealand police, can we please retry this because now this is a cold case. We don't have anyone who was convicted of this murder.
So shouldn't the system that messed up the case do something to fix its mistakes? Well, no, say the police. They can't. Or they won't.
The guy's like, I don't want to deal with this shit. We're here to take care of
said
this.
we were sorry to the other guy. What else do you people need?
And the funny thing is that the police, remember, this guy was around for years raping women. The very first victim went to the police back in 1987.
We've spoken to another woman attacked on New Year's Eve 1987, the first of Malcolm Rewa's serial rapes. And it's right then, at the very outset, that the investigation goes wrong. Because she gave police Rewa's name, but it took them 6 months to go and see him. And when they did, they believed his alibi without even checking it.
So some of these victims have a theory that this guy was a police informant and working for the police, and they were letting him get away with this shit. Now, I don't know if that's true. That seems crazy to me.
I would have heard about it. It's
Steve
New
would've
Zealand's
known.
too small. I would have heard about it.
Yeah, right, exactly. So now,
Yeah, I guess that goes your theory.
now remember, they found the guy's semen in this woman, so you're thinking, well, she was raped and then murdered. It was probably him. He went to court. They finally did try him because the Green Party came in and said, yeah, we need to reopen this. So they did retry him. And this is him from court explaining when they said, yeah, but your semen was in her. He goes, yeah, she was my girlfriend. And they go, no, that's not true.
Just because I'm a bad person doesn't mean to say I'm a liar. You know, good people lie too.
Just because I'm a bad person doesn't mean I'm lying.
Yeah,
It's just my girlfriend.
That's your classic. That's the classic thing that a liar would say.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's your classic. I'm not lying.
There's
Are
the
you
loophole.
Sure? Yeah.
That's just what a liar would say.
Honest people tell lies too, you know.
Yeah.
So thankfully he was convicted of that murder. And before he was convicted of the murder, though, there was a documentary made about him. And they state this, which I think sums up my case this week.
If Malcolm Rewa were charged and convicted of murder, he would move to the top of the list of this country's most shameful criminals. Never before have we had a serial rapist who's attacked so many women and also killed.
That's
Wrong.
right.
And
Top of
also-
the list, baby. I picked number 1. Vote for Karl.
Carl, you call that a rapist?
Jesus.
Well, I got a rapist.
Do you want to be on this show anymore? This is brutal.
I mean, I'll.
You'll entertain it? All right.
I'm here for the long haul, I guess.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard a fancy story from Carl.
It was a pretty good
Mr.
story.
Las Vegas.
I'm still not sure who Carl's creep was. Was it the guy or the New Zealand police force?
Steve, just strap in. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
We'll let the listeners sort it out
They
later.
finally got it
Let's
right.
not help him. Let's just leave his mumble mess
All
out
right,
there.
yeah. I had no idea what was going on, Vinny. I believe in you. You're an excellent broadcaster, consummate professional.
Wait a second. Are you just bringing in Are you just bringing Vinnie apologists now as our third
Vinnie
chair?
gave me $20 before the show. To
No,
big
what?
him up.
That's like that's like 10,000 in New Zealand dollars.
I was gonna say.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can buy a house now back home.
So, Carl, you made one interesting distinction here in your thing. You said he is the most prolific rapist in New Zealand history.
No,
that murdered.
No,
that killed.
Yes. Right. One of the most shameful criminals of all time.
Yeah, yes,
that's much better than prolific.
I would like to go with the even more shameful.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, the first result of Google. Here comes Vinnie with the first
No.
result.
Joseph Thompson. This guy grew up in Wellington, which I believe is your hometown, Steve.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Is that in Australia?
It's Wellington is a suburb in Australia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So is New Zealand. Leaving school at age 15, Joseph joined a gang known as the Stormtroopers.
Oh, sweet.
No, this was 1974. This was before Star Wars.
This is when being a stormtrooper was not a good thing.
Yes, and that like fucking I'm a Nazi is what it meant.
Remember the Stormtroopers, remember?
Nobody in the gang could shoot anyone. They were terrible.
They're all bad shots. And their armor sucked.
In 1974, he was arrested for the first time for stripping cars for conversion, and he was sent to live with his mother. In 1976, he was charged with attempting to steal a car and was disqualified from driving and was on probation. He appeared before the court several more times for drunk driving, driving while disqualified, and suspected arson. This is all before the age of 1983, so he's still in his very early 20s.
Okay.
He's still in his very early 20s is my point.
Yep.
Well, his girlfriend...
I'm 4 years old at the time.
Right. His first girlfriend, who he had 2 children
I
with.
was wearing an O.J. Simpson's jersey in 1983.
No, you
It's
were not.
Still celebrating many good seasons.
You
of the
guys are
Boston
triggering me.
Balls.
You're triggering me on purpose.
I was definitely watching the Cosby Show at the time.
Yes, we were watching the
Yeah.
Cosby Show with an O.J.
Guaranteed.
Simpson jersey on.
That we got that in New Zealand.
Well, he had 2 kids, and his girlfriend left him because she could no longer accept his lifestyle. He's a drunk, low-level gang criminal. He's a high school dropout, and she really didn't appreciate the way he beat her up all the time.
Okay.
She wasn't a fan of it.
Okay.
She wasn't a fan of the way he beat up her and the children.
You go, girl.
Yeah, so she decided to leave. So a little bit later, March 1983, Joseph went to go visit a buddy of his who lived next door to a really hot young lady. His friend wasn't home when he showed up there, so he decided to make an unannounced visit to the woman next door. He broke into her house, hid in there till she came home and went to bed, waited for her to fall asleep, then raped her at knife point.
Okay.
That was his first rape, and you know what?
Why wait till she falls asleep? She's just going to wake up immediately.
Right, but he got the drop on her, was his
Yeah.
thing. He didn't want the struggle, but we're going to talk about how much he enjoyed the struggle later.
I hate when Vinny says we're going to do something later. It means he's got paragraphs and paragraphs.
This began...
6 pages I saw before.
Oh, fuck. He only gave you $20?
This began the South Auckland serial rapist reign of terror. This motherfucker was one of the most ingenious and dedicated rapists I've ever read about.
Okay.
It's fucking unreal.
I don't know why you're so proud of him.
Yeah.
I'm not proud of him. I'm just saying he's better than yours. My rapist is way better at being a creep than yours is.
I'm not saying
Jeez
I'm proud of him.
Louise.
I mean, it's like going to a football game and everyone's like, you're way too proud of your kid. And you're like, I'm not proud of my kid. I just think my kid is better than all of your fucking kids.
Right. I think he is proud, is what you're saying. Yes, agreed.
Come on, Vinny.
Thompson made a collection of old keys, which he found very useful for opening doors and houses of his victims. Raping became his big pastime, guys. He raped all of the fucking time. He loved fucking raping. In fact, I actually have audio of him. He went on a job interview. He didn't get the job, but here's the audio.
Qualifications. Rape, arson, and rape. You said rape twice. I like rape.
Yes, he does. He likes rape a lot.
That's him?
No, god damn it.
Okay.
Blazing Saddles not make it over there?
Guess
Oh,
not.
no, I'm so worried. I was like, oh my God, please say no. I was like,
Okay.
wait, that's not a New Zealand accent. Wait.
Well, guys, here's where we're going to start making distinctions between the two rapists here. The ages of his victims are varied, and he was often not discouraged when chased away. He would get chased away or caught or about to rape somebody. He would come back and find them later and finish the job. He would often torment his victims, and on one occasion, he raped a 12-year-old girl and kissed her on the cheek and said, maybe you could come live with me. This girl was terrified for years after that this guy was going to come back and get her. Okay? Not all of his attacks were successful. Some girls fought back against him. One of them kneed him in the groin. He ran away. Another one cut him across the face with a pocket knife.
Killed him.
Yeah, me too. And in 1989, he broke up with his other girlfriend, and he became engaged in a custody battle over this other child. So he was very upset one day after he left the lawyer's office, as a guy usually is.
Custody of the kid?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that like cut into his raping time?
You would
if
think
he's
so.
Raising a child?
You would think so, but maybe he was going to train him to, like, I don't know, keep watch. Who fucking knows what he had planned? So that afternoon, he left the lawyer's office very, very upset, and he followed a 14-year-old girl to her home directly across the road from the lawyer's house and raped her.
Okay.
So, like, he literally left the thing. He's like, man, I'm bummed out. Oh, look, a 14-year-old. This guy raped kids. The ages of people that he raped were from 10 to age 63. That's a fucking window.
How long was he operating for?
12 years.
Okay.
And what happened to him?
Well, I'm going to tell you.
How many victims do we know about? How
Oh,
many was
don't
he
worry.
convicted of?
Oh, plenty. Don't you worry.
All right.
He moved to Menorah. I guess that's Manuera.
Manuera.
Yeah. In February, he raped a 12-year-old girl 4 times in one attack. Finally.
Wait a second. How do they distinguish? Is he finishing
No,
four
he
times?
he fucking raped her, held her there,
Yes.
raped her again,
Right.
held her there, raped her again, held her there, raped her again. Then he fucking left. A 12-year-old to a 12-year-old. This guy's fucking the worst, Carl, and even you're
doesn't
quiet.
make any sense, Rick.
What do you mean it doesn't make any sense?
I just don't know how you distinguish one rape from the next, but okay, whatever.
So are you saying that, well, I mean, the separate...
You could say that he raped her for hours. I don't know. I don't know what that means 4 times. What does that mean? What does that mean, play us out? I don't know what that means.
Fucking thing sucks.
Well, it sucks. Now listen,
You
dickhead.
keep going.
In February 1993, in the suburbs of Sandringham, Joseph Thompson gained entry in a 25-year-old nurse's house where the young woman surprised him in the hallway. He beat her badly, raped her, and this time he was also committing other burglaries in the area. So not only is he raping, now he's just robbing people's houses too, because he is a scumbag criminal.
Sure.
In March 1994...
Don't forget that DUI. Let's not forget that.
Oh, yeah, and the attempted arson. In 1994, the police were compiling a list of possible suspects because we'll get to the final number in a little bit. But let's just say there's quite a lot of rape going on that fucking island.
Okay.
Okay? So...
And it's not just sheep. Sometimes it's people. too.
Sometimes it's people. So
you knew this was going to happen, right? Okay.
So the police are searching South Auckland looking for this guy. Anybody who fits the description. Still the rapes continued. Until one of the victims fought back and Joseph punched her in the face, punched her in the mouth and broke her tooth.
Uh-huh.
And then she cut his fist with her tooth. So she had a blood sample from this guy. And this is we're talking early 90s. So this is the early stages of DNA evidence. Okay. So the police, they start deciding, well, whoever's doing this is probably been arrested before. Maybe we have a DNA profile, or maybe we have...
Yeah, why don't we just check just for shits and giggles? Let's just see.
Well, they start going down a list of people who've been in trouble,
Yeah.
and they were starting to request DNA samples from them.
Okay.
So they made a list and then went to people and said, give us your DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Weird. Usually you have to have a warrant for that. They can't just force you to do it. Apparently in New Zealand they can.
I think they just sent him a postcard in the mail that said, free surfboard, come to the precinct.
Dude, it's worse than that.
All right.
He got married
worse than
again.
that. Okay.
It's stupider than that. Is
Okay,
what I'm
stupider,
saying.
all right.
Meanwhile, at the start of 95, he got married. He moved away, and he's looking for a new life. And he married her on March 25th. And on April 26th, Thompson was contacted for a blood sample, as many of those other people on the list were.
Yeah.
Thompson told the detectives, hey, listen, I'm a Jehovah's Witness now, so I can't give you a blood sample, I guess. Like, he just made up some story.
Yeah.
And they said, well, then we want a saliva sample. And he was like,
I'm a Scientologist, and I can't give you saliva?
Wiccan? I'm a Wiccan? He was trying to come up with something, but they were like, nope, give it to us. So apparently, he didn't show up for the test. They went to go find him at his job. He was homesick. 2 policemen traced him back to someone else's house, and they took him physically down to a station and did the testing.
Okay.
He tried to sabotage the testing by smoking directly beforehand. I guess you're not supposed to do that. He did it anyway. In mid-June 1995, police were advised that Thompson's oral swab had passed the first stage of identification, and he was under tight police surveillance. It is believed that 2 attempted attacks were avoided during just this time because he was under surveillance. Like, they were watching him eyeball women, and then he kind of looked around and realized maybe I shouldn't right now. So They were very suspicious of
These
him.
are the types of details he puts in that are so unnecessary.
When the second test returned positive, the police showed up to this motherfucker's house with 4 police cars and a police dog, and it proved to be unnecessary because he opened up the door, holding his jacket, and said, "I've been waiting for you guys." And they took him directly to the police station. He spent the weekend pouring out his confessions in video. They said to him, "Did you do this?" And his exact words were,
"I did sex them up a little bit."
Yeah. So he spent the weekend, like I said, confessing. Now, all in all, when all is said and done, he stood in court and pled guilty to 129 counts of rape.
Shit. 129
And
counts.
how many victims did you have?
Well, 25.
Well, his victims were well into the 70s.
Okay.
So he almost raped 3 times the people that your guys did, and there were children.
Oh, now there's math involved in this game?
Yeah, there is.
Is that what you're telling me?
He was also convicted of 61 other sexual violations plus assaults. He pled guilty on all charges, which is believed to be the record number of guilty pleas in the history of the Commonwealth of New Zealand.
Number 1 Google result, everybody. Good job, Vinny.
It's not, though. There's worse.
You've done it
I
again.
was going to go murderers. I didn't think you would go rapists, too.
You've done it again, my friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is my creep.
Congratulations, Vinny.
Thank you. Thank you. He is the number 1 serial rapist in all of New Zealand.
Steve, if you're not asleep, do you want to present your creep at this time?
I definitely found Vinny's acquisition way creepier than yours. That's not
how this game works, you asshole.
No, but
we're all in it for ourselves.
No, but
here.
I'm just if we have to I'm just saying he was creepy.
Vote after the show. All right, I'll be up online. You can go
Steve,
vote.
you get a turn here. You're allowed to. You get to tell us about your creep now. I know I did a good job. Thank you. I always do a good job. I'm a good boy.
Really grease the pobs here.
I have the biggest creep in New Zealand. But
good.
There's just never been any more uncomfortable a moment in my life than watching 2 straight white guys play a game of who's got the better rapist.
That's what this game is.
Yeah,
that's what this show is.
It's a lot of fun. Now,
well, my creep has
hold
not
on 1
raped
second
anyone.
before you tell who your creep is. I just want you to know something. We have one listener in the YouTube, Rydongo. He must be an attorney. He says he's from New Zealand, and he actually just said, "Is Steve going to do the person that I know you're about to do?" Like, you have somebody in New Zealand who's super excited for this, just so you know. Go ahead, Steve.
My creepiest New Zealander is a gentleman named David Bain.
Why do you talk about him like this? He was born in the darkness.
I was born in the creeps. I was molded by it. This is New Zealand's most high-profile murder case.
Okay.
But the real creepiness of this story sort of resides in the family that David Bain came from. This centers around a crime in 1994 on June 20th in New Zealand, where 5 out of the 6 Bain family members were shot and killed. Right? I'm
glad one survived.
The surviving member is David Bain.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I'm going to just paint you a bit of a picture of David's family.
Please do.
In the time leading up to his the murder of everyone that he was related to. His parents were married in 1969. Nice.
69!
Yeah,
dude.
David
69!
David was their first child. And the family spent 14 years after David was born living in New Guinea, which is a very little and very odd place.
In Australia.
Racist.
Everything is in Australia, yes.
Yes.
There were, of course, 5 other children, including himself. And the family were kind of hippies. The mum was going on all of these spiritual journeys while they were living in New Guinea. They were originally from a small town.
And she was just being passed around by, like, natives?
I mean, potentially. I don't have those exact facts, but that's possibly what was going on.
Stop with your fantasies over there, Vinny.
They call me Papa New Guinea.
I get it.
Come on, it's a geography joke.
So their family's in New Guinea, and mom is kind of going on all these spiritual journeys, but they're a small rural New Zealand family from a small town called Dunedin, which is in the South Island. It's probably about as big as Rochester as far as population goes, to be honest. Mum was going on these weird kind of bents where she would not look after the house. The kids would run around naked. She would never clean. She went on this weird journey where she started canning fruit, but then never eating any of it and letting it all go bad. And her marriage and mental health was generally kind of starting to deteriorate. This mum of the Bain family, Mama Bain, beat her dad down mentally. And it was less of a marriage and more of like a hostage situation where he was terrified of her. Apparently, over their time in New Guinea, she sort of went on these spiritual journeys, but instead of coming back chilled out, she kind of came back with more of like a cult leader kind of vibe, but of her own family. So this powder keg...
I got an aunt who did that. Keep going, sorry. One of these days I'll bring her in.
So then this powder keg of mental health moves from New Guinea back to Dunedin after 14 years in New Guinea, and the mum goes crazy, and she moves out of the house into a caravan in the backyard.
So now, she's living in the backyard?
She's living in the backyard because this tension is starting to brew between her and her husband, right? They've been to New Guinea, and in their time in New Guinea, she was so isolated, I guess, she started trying to go on all these weird spiritual vision quests and bring this mission back to her family. She starts keeping this diary because her husband won't accept kind of the way she's behaving. She moves into this caravan and starts keeping her diary. And excerpts of the diary... while she's living in this camper van, she says that like God is speaking to her and that what she's writing about is the word of God, which is always a really good sign.
Honey, that's just the radio. It's a radio in the camper van. It's not God.
It's not the first person to think they were writing the word of God, and a lot of those people we celebrate. But go ahead.
So this next bit is where I think I'm going to actually, I just needed to give you that context on the mum, okay?
Got it.
Kind of nuts, weird lady who went and lived in a camper van in the backyard. So this is where her son, eldest boy David, comes in. Because in the mum's diary, after she says she starts to hear the voice of God, she begins to referring to her husband and all of the other kids as sons of Belial.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's a demon. I know Belial.
Oh, what do you know about Belial?
I had a beer with him once. He's a demon.
He's an open micer.
Yeah.
But he's correct, though. But he's right. He's an open micer. Yeah, hey, guys, how's it going? God, it's hot as hell, and I would know.
Hey, my name is Belial. You guys ever have to go buy condoms?
well, Belial is like, but he's right. It's a demon that represents, like, laziness and uselessness. And so she starts to write intensely in this diary. She begins ranking her family members in order of Belialness, right? Which is always a good thing for your mum to do, is to be sitting down.
You always want to picking favorites, right?
But instead of picking favorites, being like, I'm going to rank you in order of who I think most represents this demonic possession that's going on inside you. Her husband was obviously top of the list, but Vinnie, her dear sweet little David.
Yeah.
He was the least Belial in her eyes.
Yeah, because he's the one who showed initiative and murdered his whole family. He's not lazy.
Well, he's actually, at this point, while Mum's keeping the Belial tracking system afloat, David's having a really hard time fitting in after a year back in New Zealand. He is 100% the weird, smelly kid at school that no one wants to hang out with.
So New Zealander.
Look, there are normal people in New Zealand too, Vinnie. There's three of them.
It's low-hanging fruit Paulino. You just got to get over it on this show.
Listen, dude, Vinnie's the funniest guy I've ever met, okay? He's a great man.
What is going on here?
He gave me $20.
What the fuck is going on here, Vinnie?
I need the money. I need the money really bad.
He's doing it to piss me off. I know he is. Oh, God damn it.
Listen, David comes back to Dunedin. He's having a tough time because he's the New Zealander of the school, right?
Yeah.
And he begins obsessing over girls. Always good. Often pretending he was dating them without them knowing.
Huh.
That's every girl's dream, I guess. And planning their futures and stuff like that, right? So he's sort of starting to keep a few notes of his own, and they're not very healthy. He, to my knowledge, I don't think, I could be wrong, was ever accused of sexually assaulting anyone, but...
Disqualified!
Here's the thing. He planned a sexual assault of a girl, right? That he would see jogging while he was, when he was in his teenage years, he had a paper route. And there was a girl that he saw jogging on the paper route. And he went to his best friend and said he had a plan to rape this girl.
Jesus.
And his plan was going to be that he would stash the papers from his paper route somewhere and then run off and rape this girl while she was out jogging, and then go back and like dump all of his papers and pretend he delivered them, but the paper route would be his ally. And the weirdest part of this was that he asked...
That's not a good plan.
Well,
that's not an impressive plan. Like, strategically, not great.
Well, this is the thing, was he asked his friend, do you think that's a good plan?
Okay, yeah.
And his friend was like, no, that's not a good plan.
Not a good plan.
You should not rape someone.
Right.
And he went, oh no, I know I shouldn't do that, but like, is the plan good?
Right. His friend was like, ask her out. Maybe she want to grab coffee sometime. Buy her a flower.
It's like when Carl writes a song and people go, there's no words. And he's like, but the melody, is the melody good?
Yeah. It's like, that's not, no. I know it's bad. I just want to know if like the way
Hold
that
on
I'm
a
going to go.
second.
I realize it's
Hold
only
on.
half a song, but does it sound okay?
Hold on a second, Steve. Let me interrupt you real quick.
Fuck you!
All right, carry on.
Yeah, like it's like Bill.
It's a piece of garbage!
So he's clearly a disturbed guy. I guess that was from some testimony that happened during the trial. So 1990 to 1994, the whole family starts to collapse.
Did he execute on this plan or no?
Huh?
He didn't execute on the plan?
To my knowledge, never actually.
Good, because it wasn't a good plan.
But the key here in this story is that the paper route was his ally. That was what he was telling his friend.
Alibi.
His alibi, that's right. That's the word I mean. So his dad...
No, don't you understand? An alibi is the name of a type of bird in New Zealand. It's an ally.
And that's Vinny's absolutely correct about that, because he knows a lot more about New Zealand than most people would think, because he's so clever.
Vinny, Vinny, Vinny.
All right, carry on.
I like that song. It's about one of my favorite people.
God damn it! Stop it!
Vote Carl. This is rigged. This is obviously rigged.
So,
Stop it.
Unfortunately, the dad is allegedly sexually assaulting one of the daughters, and that daughter moves out and becomes a sex worker before eventually moving back in with the dad. There was a very confusing scenario going on there. While this is happening, God tells Mum that they need to demolish the entire family house and make a new house, which is a temple to keep the family safe from all evil, which is always a sign that things are going well.
Why not build the temple and then demolish the house? Like, that's the order I would have gone in, just so you have a place to live while you're building.
I mean, but God wasn't speaking to you.
Correct.
He
Good
was
point.
speaking to Mama Bain.
He does work in mysterious ways.
How many universes have you created, Carl?
You know what?
Before you start second-guessing the almighty.
That's a very good point.
Thanks.
And I apologize. I stand corrected.
So now I'm not sure if I have this next fact right, but apparently she basically turns the entire family into like a super cult at this point and gets them to build this house, even going so far as to send one of her kids to school for like architecture design to help design and get the house
Well, that's
built.
actually a good plan.
So maybe send the kid to architecture school before you tear down the house?
I would think,
but okay. Okay.
No, the house is getting torn down, and she has to go to school. I like how you're like, but that plan. That
actually makes sense.
That she's got better planning ability.
She
than
does.
Yeah, well, God was telling her to do all this stuff, so I guess he's got the gift of foresight. So there's a weekend where David convinces everyone to come home, and they watch a documentary or something, and then the whole family goes to bed. Then David goes on his paper route, comes home. Everyone's dead. He says he found them like that, and it must have happened while he was out delivering his papers.
His ally.
Is that? Do you want me to play this audio clip, Steve?
I have an audio of David's 111 call to the police. Please, Vinny.
What the fuck is 111?
That's 911, but less confusing. You don't
That's
have
so
to press
stupid.
a 9 first.
Okay, no. They're all dead. What's the matter?
They're all dead. I came home and they're all dead.
Whereabouts are you?
Every street.
Oh, every street.
65 every street. They're all dead.
Who's all dead?
My family, they're all dead. Hurry up.
It's okay. Every street. It runs off Somerville Street?
Yes.
What number are you calling from?
454. 2527.
454
2527.
2527. And your last name?
Doesn't seem pertinent to the problem here.
Okay, we're on our way. Okay, Mr. Bain? Yeah, we'll be there very shortly.
Okay.
He seems very upset finding his family dead.
Yeah, I don't think he's a creep at all. And can I just say, to go back to our previous discussions, Beck W. made a really good point. God did not say he had to demolish her caravan during the construction.
That's true.
Just the house.
So she had somewhere to live, but everyone else, they had to get to work if they wanted a roof over there.
All right, so the family died and David had nothing to do with it. Do we have any voicemails?
Yeah, let's go right into it. I got that from Syracuse. Go ahead, Steve.
All right, you got more?
Well, that's the thing. So that's his 911. That's his 111 call.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's always been alleged that he didn't sound like a person who was genuinely distraught. I think that the police officer there needs to get a lot of credit. That is the most New Zealand way to handle being called about a whole lot of people being dead I've ever heard, where a person just goes, oh, all right.
And what number are you calling from?
Whereabouts are you then? But so it was obviously what happened then is the police arrived on the scene. Everyone's dead, all shot in the head with a .22 rifle, and it is room to room. Almost every family member is in whatever bedroom of the god temple, I guess they're supposed to reside in.
Okay.
And the youngest child, the younger brother, Stephen, is found. He's found strangled with one of his own T-shirts, and he has a bullet hole on his hand. From what the police reckon was that he was whoever they got to last, and he tried to put his hand over the butt of the rifle, and boom, it went off. But there are a few mitigating circumstances that the police have gone back and forth on. For instance, the father...
These police are not the best police in the world.
Why don't they just pay somebody to say he's guilty?
Can I just say, in defense of the New Zealand police, they don't get this sort of stuff all the time.
Okay.
Like, the idea that someone's been shot with a gun is always news to us, all right?
A what?
But
you mean you hit him with the boomerang?
The father
was... gun!
The father's body was the warmest of all of them.
What's your
and
number?
The initial suspicion was that the father had gone and suicided everyone, because there was a note on the computer upstairs in the house that said, sorry, you are the only one who deserved to stay, which obviously was a suicide note left for David, and weirdly signed David Bain. Which I thought was an odd choice for him to make there.
Yeah.
It said at the bottom,
signed the fucking...
Yeah, it said at the bottom, from David Bain, not actually my dad.
What a fucking moron.
No, he didn't do that. But there's blood all over the house. David has a book in his room, a true crime book about killing your family. And basically what happened was initially they thought it was the dad, and then after a while and looking at a bunch of evidence, for instance, gloves were worn while using the rifle, but the dad didn't have any gloves on his person when they found him dead. The dad was also, his outfit was freshly clean and there was no blood on it, and if he had gone through the house murdering everyone, there would have been blood all over it, and
everybody in the neighborhood's newspapers that morning were covered in blood.
Everyone's newspapers were covered in blood. There was another sort of, and that slightly tipped it. The New Zealand police were like, I don't know, I need some more evidence here.
Vinny, what's black and white and red all over?
A New Zealand newspaper.
That was almost as good as some of the jokes I've heard Vinny do at the comedy club.
Oh, see, now it's turning. See, now he's mad at me.
There's a whole lot of weird. I've got a whole lot of weird facts about the case, but basically, it kind of, he went to jail. David Bain went to jail for these murders, and it is still hotly contested to this day. He's out of jail.
Okay.
We managed to keep him in a little bit longer than Cosby. I think it was 16 or 13, or I think it might have been 13 years that he actually served.
Okay.
But there was a rugby player who, because there's one group of people who look at the evidence and go, the dad did it, and another group of people who look at the evidence and go, David did it. Most of New Zealand seems to think it kind of not been David. You just look at photos of the guy.
You brought a creep that most people in New Zealand think didn't do it?
So did you last week. You brought in fucking OJ, asshole. Shut the fuck up.
Everyone thinks he did it.
Shut up, you idiot.
Look, if he didn't do it, it's super sad that he went to jail. But this is a photo he took of himself.
It's like a Freddy Krueger sweater.
Yes, I know. That sort of seems a little bit like, ha, I got away with it.
And that's the dad?
That's the dad who supposedly did it. And
Yeah,
the
she
mum-
looks nuts.
Yeah, she was nuts. And ultimately my creep is the entire Bain family. Because their story is just so disturbingly creepy, and whatever was going on in that family was so deep and dark and sinister that it let poor, non-Belial, innocent baby David to have to go grab his .22 rifle and just kind of end it all. You know,
Well, I brought in a serial sex maniac who
this
raped
is what
children.
Vinny always does. Immediately when you're done, he's like, yeah, but let's remember what I said.
Yeah, because that's how you win.
No, I wanted to ask you a question. Was the New Zealander who's in our chat, was that the person they were thinking of?
Yes, 100%.
Oh, okay.
David Bain, he called it.
Okay, cool.
There's a lot of David Bain jokes in New Zealand. Like,
tell us some.
One guy says, "Hey, have you heard of David Bain?" Oh, don't you mean David Blaine, the magician? No, David Blaine is the guy who is an escape artist. David Bain is the magician who made his family disappear.
That's good.
Waka. Don't open with it, Steve. Ladies and
Well,
gentlemen,
you'd
you
need
can vote.
intimate knowledge of David, but I don't think I'm doing that to American crowds. They'd be like, "Is that his mate, David Bain? Does he just not like him or something?"
Yeah, America's be like, is that his mate?
Is that his friend, David Bain?
So listen, folks, let's just recap this here, because you can vote this week at thecreepoff.com. There is Karl's Creep, the second most prolific rapist in New Zealand history, and of course, and then, of course, Joseph Thompson, serial rapist, sex maniac, raped children, old ladies, didn't give a shit. And then Karl, this guy who may or may not have killed his family. Steve brought, sorry.
And definitely strangled his younger brother to death with a T-shirt, which is quite violent and terrifying. Shot his own mother and father in the head.
What do you do, like fucking knock out the Xbox controller? Like, how does I've gotten pretty close to strangling family members over stuff like that.
What I like, though, is that today we had to go through 3 horrible New Zealanders, and there have only ever been 3.
Oh yeah, you don't think we could find a 4th if we looked for it?
Actually,
Okay.
there is a 4th. There is someone that you guys missed out on. There was a guy last year who stuffed a girl in a suitcase and hit her in the woods. He was just kind of gross.
That's nothing. Par for the course on the show. Let's do some voicemails.
The Creep Off voicemail segment is brought to you by the City of Syracuse. We'd like to thank Elton John on taking his farewell tour to Syracuse. Syracuse has a long history of people wanting to end it all. See you, Sir Elton, in Syracuse.
I looked it up. It's true. Elton John's farewell tour is going through Syracuse.
Yeah.
That's a very strange choice, don't you think, Karl?
No, they get a lot of big shows because they can pull from Western New York, Central New York, downstate a little bit. So if you're a big act like Elton John, all right, never mind.
All right. If you're a big act like the Isotopes,
I'm going through too much geography.
you might be
right
able to
now.
play Syracuse.
The Angels are playing Avon next month, but I don't want to brag.
I believe it's pronounced Avon. Now, ladies and gentlemen, your voicemails. Where to start?
God, I really can't wait for you guys to do the creepiest retard on radio, where Karl picks Jackie Martling and Vinny picks fucking Jim Norton. That'd be fucking amazing. I'm Karl. I shit on you a lot, but I gotta say, I need to apologize, man. I was gonna vote for you with O.J. Simpson, but fucking Vinny came through with Bill Cosby. I'm sorry, man. I really am. I have to. I have to vote for him now.
Yeah, a lot of
Sorry.
good fucking did me, pal.
Good tea, don't call me back.
No problem. Hey, Karl, did you leave another voicemail?
I might have. I got really drunk.
Hey, creeps, this is Carl. I want you to check out my new original podcast, Biggest Creeps in the Universe, where me and my Italian co-host, Vito Gisoldi, ranks every creep from creepiest to, not so creepiest. Also, check out Vinny's new podcast, Biggest Debate in the Pizza Hut, where he argues with the cashier about whether or not they put extra cheese on his pizza. Check them both out.
I know. I know when they don't do it, and they charge you extra.
Vinny, I got a voicemail.
All right.
Wanted to clear something up. What was the name of our episode last week?
Okay, so apparently this was a problem.
All right,
it was Dear Flabby.
Dear Flabby. All right, let me play the voicemail.
Hey, this is for the Creep Off. Dear Flabby is the name of a recurring segment on Who's Right. Just thought you should know that. So, yeah, Dear Flabby is taken up. And
all right,
is your fan base your copyright office? What the fuck?
Yeah,
going on
exactly. Fuck you. What show is this now?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Who could possibly know that this was taken by Who's Right? How would we ever be able to know that information? That'd be impossible for us to know.
I would never, ever trickle all the way up to Karl and myself.
Everything's been taken by someone at this point.
No one came running in here to tell us, dude, don't name it that because of who's right or whatever.
I think you guys are both retarded. Should it be Ask Flabby? Isn't it Ask Abby?
It's Dear Abby, stupid.
I'm pretty sure I was walking down the outdoor and garden section of Lowe's the other day, and there was a tick repellent called Creep Off.
Interesting.
Well, there you go.
So, where's your fucking voicemail about that, dude?
All right, then. Now, listen, I want to point one other thing out on this.
Should be Ask Abby.
I'm
not the one who's wrong here.
I chose that name because someone in the Discord made that joke, and I thought it was funny. Not the Discord, in the YouTube chat, and I thought it was funny to name the episode after a joke somebody came up with. So whoever that person
It was probably
is the
Doug.
copyright
Wait, is this
thief.
just the name of an episode, not the name of a...
Yeah, it was probably Doug from Who's
The
Right.
segment is called Dear Carl.
Right.
Oh, well, look, you can call an episode whatever you want. If you had a recurring segment, who cares? No, who's this voicemail from?
Now, this next one here is an actual Dear Carl.
Oh, great. Okay.
Here you go, Carl. Your chance to answer a listener question.
I want to answer it for him.
Hey, so, Vinny, I'll be straight up. I'm against you. I'm for the Carl Cuzzaroos, but this question might turn me from his side to yours.
Okay.
And this is a Dear Carl. Want to know, if I move to Thailand, which I plan to do, how many lady boys do I have to fuck before it turns me into an F-slur like Carl? And do I have to give foot jobs and then make my feet look like clubbed feet?
I'm changing my creep from David Bain to this guy.
Thank you. I appreciate your time, and it means a lot to me. Thank you. Bye.
I don't think that was a real question.
I think he'd like to know how many lady boys does he have to have sex with before he could be an F-slur like you?
All right, first off, that's offensive. in
Very
many
much
ways.
so, sir.
Everyone knows fucking ladyboys is not gay.
Also, saying F-slur doesn't make it okay to say it. You can't walk around going, what's
You
up my
think?
N-word, and go, I didn't actually say it, though, did I?
Ask Kimberly from Kimberly and Beck if you could just say N-word and it makes it okay.
No, I believe you mean from the show that we need to review on WATP.
Yeah, we do.
Kimberly's Revolution.
Yes,
Can
we
I
do.
please be in on that?
You're coming on this weekend. Bring it.
No, it's more work. You bring it.
You're the worst.
We should do that as a bonus episode. That'd
All
be
right.
a bonus
The worst,
episode.
he's the best.
I got another voicemail on here, Vinny. I got another voicemail on here. And yes, when you give a foot job, you should curl your feet in like they're club feet. It does work better. This is someone who's got your back.
Ugh, I'm with you, Vinny. Even though you're a real big kind of a fat hippo type kind of guy,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Thank you.
Fucking Carl's from Spencerport. Ugh. Spencerport. Carl, you probably started that fire, you fucking creep. You know what, Vinny? I was fucking team, Cuzaroo, but you know what? Now that I know that Carl's from Spencerport, I'm really having some serious fucking doubts.
I feel like
Spencerport. Oh my goodness.
I feel like this voicemail has me in a headlock in a parking lot of a bar and
Vinny,
just loves
you
me to
fat
death.
tits.
You know what I mean?
Your crotch is raw. You know it's raw, especially because it's July. We're moving into July, and your crotch is fucking rubbed raw.
What
But
was
I'm
that-
still with you.
What's Kevin Ricotta's joke?
Anyway, fuck both you guys. You can both suck my dick. You can both suck my dick. Fuck both of you.
Starts to have a little fun at the end. Was Kevin Ricotta's joke when he wore corduroys and started a fire?
No, his joke was, I started smoking the other day. A little Vaseline between the thighs.
That's right.
Solved it right. Fixed it right up.
That's what it was.
All right. I guess we'll throw in this last one. We are in a little bit of trouble because our marketing department is on the phone.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I just wanted to say this once. This is Josh from the marketing department.
Hey, Josh.
You guys are fucking up. I'm not going to fire Carl. I'm going to fire Croge.
Nice!
Just to, fire a shot off the bow. But why the fuck didn't you guys release at least a Patreon episode this week? The Creep Off is already struggling.
Surging, you mean?
We need all the people listening we can get. Be great if you guys actually tried. Vinny, even your podcast effort is fat. So
okay.
You missed our meeting, but we'll talk on Monday. fuck yourself.
Sorry, Josh.
Why do I feel like the marketing department is like the high school principal? Like, why am I nervous when
You're
I'm hearing,
all in big trouble.
we got a meeting with the marketing department? Oh, no! What do
You
we do
guys
this
aren't
time?
marketable.
But not like
Thanks.
the actual principal, like a guy who's just shown up to school one day and gone, I'm the principal, guys.
Yeah. Like, I don't think
Vice
there's a lot
principal.
of credibility.
Yeah. Josh, you go fuck yourself in
Yeah,
your meeting.
fuck you, Josh.
I'll be eating. You ready to move on to the scum parade, Carl? Because I
Vinny's
certainly am.
Cause Vinny's a creep. And Carl's a weirdo. I'm not kidding around. They're both degenerate psychopaths with no business in a civilized society. And they're gonna take you on a scum parade.
I don't know. That one actually.
Whoa! A man of one talent.
And it's not singing or joke telling. Or apparently playing this game. Now, folks, I want to let you know that this week's Scum Parade, we're going to have a lot of fun with it. We're going to start off in Tennessee, shall we, guys?
Let's do it.
Clifford Polly Jr. allegedly used his personally owned black 2016 Dodge Charger, which was equipped with red and white flashing lights on the front and back, to block another car's path before pulling out a gun and pointing it at the driver. Now, this happened in Nashville. The police department there said, according to the report, at the time of the incident, Polly was wearing a uniform, quote, consistent with a police officer, end quote, which included a, quote, duty belt and patches that said he was, quote, private duty law enforcement.
But have you ever
What
thought
the
about,
fuck is that?
Have you ever thought about being a newsreader?
No.
you should give it a go. You're really good.
Shut up.
You saying you want a piece of me?
I'm coming over there.
Several
Wrigley.
pieces. I just don't think I can afford it.
You have to carry a lot to the car. So, private duty law enforcement. The 34-year-old Polly, who said that he worked for a Nashville security company, allegedly told investigators that the driver of the other vehicle intentionally blocked him in, making it impossible for him to drive away. That's why I pulled the gun on the guy. No. Other witnesses at the scene said that Polly made a U-turn and initiated his personal vehicle's lights, then drew a pistol equipped with the light, and with his firearm aimed at the other driver, Polly shouted, "I don't want to shoot you," and told the person to get back in their vehicle. The Warren said WKRN also reported that the witness told police they heard Polly use his cruiser-esque personal vehicle's megaphone speaker as well to tell the victim, quote, "I will shoot you."
Can I tell you a funny story about myself, Vinny?
Yeah, you got the lights on your car?
This is a true story. I used to have a megaphone wired into my car in high school. And I just really loved fucking with people. I would drive by pedestrians and just fuck with them. I feel like this is something that I've been doing for a long time
Can I
now.
tell you, we would have been such good friends if I had known you had that.
I loved it.
That would have been the most fucking fun ever.
Oh my God, I would just drive around just to fuck with people. They didn't know where it was coming from.
Just around Spencerport?
Just around Spencerport.
Dude, I'd make fart noises into it. I'd just
Yes!
pull up next to somebody and go,
I would play my band through it. People
oh,
could hear.
Jesus Christ. That's a joke on people. So, Polly was on call with police dispatch. He called them. He was taken into custody late Sunday evening on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and criminal impersonation of law enforcement. He was booked into the jail and his bond is set at $25,000. It's not clear whether Polly has an attorney at this time, but if he does, I assume it's probably just going to be him walking into court with an empty briefcase and glasses with no
He's a
lenses.
lawyer.
Oh, I'm a biggie bogey. It's a callback.
So, Vinny, you didn't pick up on this, and I understand why you didn't read this part of the story, but there's about 4 or 5 paragraphs about these lights that he put on his car.
Yeah.
What are they called?
Wigwag lights.
Have you ever heard that term before?
Never in my life. It sounds New Zealandish.
I was thinking, considering that like Robin Quivers is like a lapdog at this point, you could call Howard and Robin Wigwag. Throw it out there. I never heard wigwag lights before. That's a new one.
Are you trying to say that Howard Stern wears a wig?
Yeah, you know, Wiggy. Wiggy Stern over
Did
there.
your buddy Shuley tell you that?
No!
Did Shuley tell you the truth about the hair?
Shuley has told me that he's never seen any evidence that it's a wig. Because I did ask.
Yeah, Howard Stern's hair is a wig.
Yeah.
That is the speculation from a little place known as the internet.
Yeah, I think that the premise of the joke was good. I think if Vinny had have delivered it, it would have been just a little more polished.
I know, which is, I love it when Vinny sends me over these really long stories and then truncates them.
I hate both of you. You both are two dear friends, and I want you both dead.
Fair
Next,
enough.
we're going down to Florida, shall we? In a place called Citrus County. Sheriff's Office authorities arrested 30-year-old Cassandra Brooke Hallmark on Saturday. Now, this story is terrifying, Carl. Can we agree?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's Florida.
Right. She was charged on attempted premeditated murder with a deadly weapon. Hallmark was jailed without bond, according to the arrest report. The sheriff's office was dispatched to a house under a report that a man was being struck by a double-sided medieval axe. Hallmark, who a witness identified as the man's alleged attacker, had run away. Deputies questioned the man, who said he and another man were working on a water pump when he felt a thump on the rear of his head, stunning him, before he felt a second impact. Now, the deputies noted that an inch-long cut was on the back of the man's head, a couple inches away from the top of his spinal cord.
Jesus.
It was later discovered that this is the luckiest motherfucker on the planet. This woman took an axe to the back of his head, and the reason he survived is because he had another accident before where he had a steel plate in the back of his head.
This is
it
the
saved his life.
This is the equivalent of the cigarette pack in your...
the pack of Luckies.
Yeah, the pack of Luckies.
What does the cigarette pack stop?
Well,
bullets.
Yeah, if you have the metal cigarette packs. It's
if it's I was going to say like a packet of Marlboro Light, like 20s, isn't going to stop a bullet.
It's an old movie trope. I don't think it's actually ever happened.
And then the guy like pulls out the little tin. And he's like,
right. He's like, I'm still alive.
Yeah.
This is a horrific story, Vinny.
Yes, it is.
But it's still funnier than Mike Myers' 1993 vehicle, So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Being a dickhead fool.
I forgot you're
being a dickhead.
Forgot you're a big Mike Myers
Oh,
fan.
yeah, everybody loves that movie. Oh, I'm going to do the fat bastard voice again. Oh, I'll recycle this till the end of time. I'll be a cartoon ogre.
Where did she get the battle axe from?
So,
he wants to keep the story moving.
According to the arrest report, right?
Yeah.
The man who owned this house had a shed on his property, and this woman was just like someone who's known in the neighborhood as like a homeless person.
Right.
And he lets her sleep in the shed occasionally.
Yeah.
So that night before, he let her sleep in the shed. Him and his buddy are out working in the backyard fixing the water pump. She sneaks into his house where he has a medieval weapons collection.
Yep.
Takes a fucking battle axe off of the wall, walks outside, and boom, smashes the guy with the fucking metal plate in his head. And she got arrested.
Do you think that like it was because she saw the battle axe and just went, "Oh, you don't see one of those every day. It'd be a shame to not use it."
Well,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right. It's not like she's like, "I want to axe murder someone." Oh, what my luck? Look at this.
Yeah, like you don't go, "Oh, those I just happened to want to
I
axe
was
murder
looking
someone."
for an axe.
You guys both know I love to collect shit, and I'm going to tell you something right now.
You're going to be stabbed with a figurine?
A game-worn jersey is way more valuable than just one you bought at the store that you put in a frame. That's all I'm going to say.
Fair enough.
That's all I'm going to say. No, she's in a lot of trouble. We'll find out what happens another time, maybe. We'll probably never talk to her about it again.
What am I going to do today? Just looking around for inspiration. Oh, there's a medieval battle axe over there.
I've been sleeping in the shed all night. It's nice to be in the big house. What can I do while I'm in here?
Maybe she just took it for a walk and she was like walking down the street with the medieval battle axe and the guy with the metal plate in the back of his head went, "You won't believe how resistant my head is to that. Come over here and check this out."
Yeah, you think he was talking shit?
Well, no, he was just like,
"You can't chop off my skull."
Yeah. He was like, "This is crazy." I was talking to a friend of mine last year. I was like, if anyone ever tries to attack me with a battle axe, I have a metal plate in my head, I'll be fine. And now here I am.
If
with
they
an
come at
opportunity
me
to prove
from
it.
behind.
Only if they come at me from behind.
Now, I'm going to move on from this story because I'm tired of it.
And that's broadcasting experience.
More criminal charges have been filed against an Elizabeth, New Jersey landlord. Steve and Carl, did you know this? Did you hear about this one?
An Elizabethan New Jersey landlord?
Yeah, Elizabeth, New Jersey is a place.
Oh, Elizabeth. I thought you meant like Elizabethan.
Like from that time
Yeah,
period? Yeah,
like,
right.
He wears like an accordion around his neck. Where's the rent?
It does feel like what we're doing now, though, is we're like going back to the like Elizabethan times and going, what other crimes did they do that we can fucking lynch them for?
I'm going to tell you something right now. If this was Elizabethan times, this guy would have had no problem.
That's true.
This guy would have had
He was doing people a favor.
Zero problem.
What was his gimmick?
Okay, so he has been charged by local and federal authorities as being a serial sexual predator who preyed on his tenants in exchange for helping them with their housing situation. Joseph Centani, 74, was rearrested Wednesday and charged with 5 additional counts of second-degree sexual assault and 7 additional counts of fourth-degree criminal sexual contact. The number of alleged victims related to the criminal charges are now 20, and the total number of criminal charges against him are up to 35.
Look, affordable housing always comes with a price. Either you're getting fucked by the government, you're getting fucked by Joseph. I'll just pick one.
I reckon if Vinny went to move into that guy's apartments, like if Vinny showed up and was like, I'd like to rent an apartment here, and the guy would go, yeah, that's like $1,800 a month, and Vinny would go, is there any way I can...
Yeah, but he's like, I don't have that much money. He's like,
anyway, I can bring that down. No, it's $1,800.
I don't have that much money, Mr.
So
Landlord.
it's still 18. It's going up, actually, 1,900.
I'm shaking my tits at him. Come on.
No, dude, I actually think we're full. I don't think we have any vacancies.
Then he's coming out. Coming on your face. Okay. So this guy is a real fucking scumbag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds awful.
According to the complainants, the victims are both male and female.
Okay.
Ranging in age from 22 to 61. Authorities said in one incident, according to court documents, Centeni allegedly forced a young mother of 3 on the verge of homelessness to perform oral sex in exchange for an apartment.
That's a very generous thing to do. It's a very generous offer, don't you think? This woman's going to suck dick for one reason or another.
It's summer right now. I'll stay outside. It's summer.
He's like gas, grass, or ass, honey. No one stays here for free. This is an old tenant.
His exact words to her were, quote, "You know what you have to do." And then he allegedly laid down on a bed and started rubbing his dick in front of her.
Ah, the Giuliani.
I think it's
horrific.
Giuliani. It's horrific, obviously, like to prey on your tenants if they're in a disadvantaged situation. But
I disagree. But
there are times when Auckland is one of the most expensive cities in the world to live, and my rent was $3,500 a month. And if the landlord at that house had said to me,
I believe they're called wigwags in New Zealand.
We can half that if you know,
right?
I'd be like, okay, but I'd almost go, wait, what's the cost of, what happens if I just hire a sex worker to come here and do it?
Honestly, I was thinking about that. If you give these people the option, like, okay, we won't let you trade oral sex for rent anymore, but also now you got to pay the full rent. They're like, oh, I didn't think this all the way through. So you're saying I'm evicted. Okay.
And then the lady was like, does that have to mean could it be one of the kids? Like, that's
Can you offer it though? Like, if you're in a place where rent is really high, is it illegal to go, okay, like $2,500 a month?
It's an interesting point because
it only works
seems like
half
it goes
the time.
one way.
Right.
It's worked half the time for me.
Right. Like, if you're a tenant though, you can't, like, the police won't show up and go, hey, you tried to exploit your position as a potential or whatever to get a thing. But I suppose it's because you're like, oh, well, I'll go see if anyone does want.
Is that why producer Chris stays with you all the time now?
Oral sex is always illegal. This is America that we're talking about.
Is it though? There are probably states where you're not allowed to do it at all still. I wouldn't be surprised if in Alabama.
Sodomy, yes, of course not.
And one of the charges here brought before the court today, this man placed his mouth upon this man's genitals. And that is illegal here in the state of Alabama.
Agreed. It is very illegal in Alabama, I would assume.
Because they are not brothers, but if they were, it would be fine.
I denounce it.
Now,
Thanks,
ladies and
Donald.
gentlemen, this guy owns 18 buildings in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Totaling hundreds of
This guy's
apartments.
a sex addict. He's like, I gotta buy more buildings. I just need units. I need units. That's awesome.
He hung all the wallpaper himself.
Yes.
Many of the units are rented by low-income renters who utilize housing vouchers. So this guy, he's in a lot of trouble. The federal government, the DOJ, filed a separate lawsuit last year claiming that he violated the Fair Housing Act. He's got all sorts of problems. So fuck that guy.
Yeah.
And you get a break on your rent. Now, Conroe, Texas. Let's head out to Texas to close up this fucking shit show, shall we? Yeah. Conroe resident Raul Longoria, a man previously convicted of attempted murder, has been sentenced to prison for raping a Montgomery County woman who has a child's intellectual capacity. Longoria's victim was a 31-year-old living under her mother's care, as she was previously deemed legally incapable of caring for her basic needs due to having an approximate mental capacity of an 8-year-old.
Oh, no.
The DA's office mentioned...
Uh-oh, retard alert! Retard alert, class!
I mean, this guy was a real jerk.
Talk about you, Carl. Now, on May 17th... 2019, Longoria, who was residing near
Just say, like...
in East County in a garage apartment on the same property. So this guy's living above the fucking garage or some shit from where these people are. He noticed that the mom was out. Okay. Longoria, this is the craziest fucking story I've ever heard. Mm-hmm. This guy's like 63 years old, okay? Longoria overpowered the disabled woman who tried to fend him off with a pair of scissors. He then used a stun gun to subdue her. Then he made her watch pornography on his phone.
All right, how gross is this retard that he has to watch porno to get in the mood to fuck her? I'm picturing Wendy the retard or Wendy the slow doll with like a shitty diaper.
Carl.
He's like going down. He's like, oh, God, fuck me.
Carl, she was so gross that the device's battery died and he had to leave to go get a charger.
He was watching porn for hours. Like, fuck.
He left to get a charger?
The phone battery died. He was watching porn so long.
Couldn't get it up.
That he went to go get a charger. That's when she took the opportunity to escape, thank God, and ran barefoot a quarter of a mile in a severe rainstorm to a store where she phoned the police.
Imagine being like a chainsaw massacre guy, and you've got all the teenagers backed into a corner, and you're about to chop their limbs off, and then your fucking chainsaw goes,
you're out of gas.
Oh, can you guys just wait here a minute? I'll be right back.
This guy's just like,
I was
so close. I was so close. Fucking battery. Goddamn these older iPhones.
I knew I should have upgraded.
To the 12.
So then the retard gets up and goes. She really scurried out of there.
That's a bingo.
Now,
what the hell was that?
It's Christoph Waltz. He plea guard. Okay, so this guy was also spent 20 years in prison for a 1983 attempted murder case in Harris County. He plea bargained down to 20 years after he left a woman in a ditch after beating and raping her and slitting her throat with a knife.
Yeah, I mean, that's as attempted murder as attempted murder gets. I just call that murder. Like, it's just a miracle that she didn't die.
Yeah, exactly right. What we have here, gentlemen, is not so much an attempted murder as we have a miracle.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yes, correct. So prosecutors also presented evidence Longoria received a 6-year prison sentence for a third DWI offense in 1995. The DA's office added he was sentenced Thursday to 80 years in prison.
Yay!
I love it when there's good news, isn't
and
there?
was much rejoicing, yes.
Thank God. Yeah.
Did you see the photo of this guy?
Oh, they beat the shit out of him.
Dude, he got the old Rodney King treatment by the police.
Oh, the cops.
You tried to rape a retard, you fucking asshole. Like, they beat him to within an inch of his life.
Yeah,
he was bad.
Fucked up, bloodied,
and I
swollen.
am for it.
Yes,
that's when
beat the
brutality
shit out of
makes
that guy.
sense.
Beat him up. I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Leave other people alone. Beat up the rapists. Pedos, beat them all up. I'm fine.
You fucking know all about this shit.
No, I don't. I don't know anything. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is our creep off for this week. Don't forget to vote at thecreepoff.com. Carl, did you have a nice time today?
Time to quit talking.
I had a great time, and I want to thank Steve for coming on.
Thanks for having me here. Is it true that Cosby's really swole now? Like he got really buff in jail?
Yeah, he can see again. He's witty. He's having fun.
Oh, he's eating his pudding pop.
Ready for his comeback?
Dude, he really can see again.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a miracle.
He was lying about being blind.
You think? He was like, couldn't walk, couldn't see. Now he's doing jumping jacks down the street.
And OJ didn't do that. Bill Cosby did. But just you fucking voted for OJ. Fucking assholes. I don't want to live in a world with you people where you think that OJ's creepier than Bill Cosby.
Whatever. Stop.
He's nowhere near as creepy as the guy who was kind of weirdly brainwashed by his mum, then murdered his whole family. That guy.
Steve, anything you want to promote, my friend?
David Bain being
besides David Bain.
July 21st, if you're in Rochester, I have a show here at the Carlson, but that's pretty much it.
All right.
Well, ladies.
Oh, and I also want to promote Vinnie. Outstanding guy. Handsome gentleman.
Vinny, you're going to be at the comedy club this weekend. Oh.
Wow! You are a piece of shit.
I'm a bad person.
You're a horrible human being.
We don't usually go this long on this show.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Since Carl's decided to kick me while I'm down,
Really?
I'm going to explain that to you. And just to let you know what a bad person Carl is.
A bad person.
Oh, you're going to try to use this for sympathy points? All right, go ahead.
So your pal Vinny hasn't gotten a weekend to work stand-up since COVID. So it's been quite a while, and I was very much looking forward to doing 5 shows as the middle act, the feature act, 20-minute sets with Rachel Feinstein, who's a great comic, very, very funny person.
Yeah, very
from New
popular.
York. She's a beer at the club, and it would have been very nice to work with her. I was excited for it, and I
Huge
got told
opportunity.
maybe an hour before the show that, oh, by the way, Rachel's bringing her feature. Sorry, pal, you're out of luck.
What's wrong with you?
No fucking way!
You're like Kermit the Frog, but he's evil.
Right, I'm the evil Kermit. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I gotta go now. It's nice to be important.
It's more important to be nice.
Good,
People can't find you on Twitter or something like that?
Wrigglemania.
Wrigglemania.
Like WrestleMania, but Wrigglemania.
All right. No wonder you think Vinny's funny.
I don't know if I want any of your fans to find me. That's more the thing.
Disgusting vomit-inducing